we'll move on then to item 3.1, support of city manager. We have a new set of emergencies to report on. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone who has pulled together so rapidly over the last week and a half with the wildfire and all the challenges with evacuations in towns and cities all around us. Particular thanks to our hardworking women and men of the San Jose Fire Department who have been out there, dozens of them in communities to our east and to our west, to both save lives and to protect communities. Big thanks to Chief Sapien and everybody who's been doing such an extraordinary job in keeping people safe through this challenging time. Dave?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. So appreciate the time again. I'll start off with our unsung heroes. And today I want to highlight the small but mighty team in our Department of Planning, Building, and Code Enforcement, and starting with Jennifer Provedor, who's the Senior Administrator Supervisor in the Planning Division Support Group. And she leads a team that includes Hannah Galzati, Elizabeth Canales Moore, and Danielle Busher and Kenneth Chow. And this team provides logistical support for all the public hearings and community meetings that we've been having to do virtually. And this team is the reason why we've been able to continue on with Planning Commission, the Historic Land Use Commission, Planning Directors hearings, and our Development and Construction Roundtable. All of these have continued on because of this team. And this team quickly mastered how to use Zoom meetings to be able to do the public meetings that we are doing currently. And they really set an example for the rest of the city as they were really on the forefront of setting this up. And actually, many other cities had seen what we were doing, and they were contacting Roseland directly and asking how were we doing this and getting tips from us. And so we really provided quite a bit of leadership, not only for the city, but for other cities attempting to do this work. So really want to thank Jennifer and the entire team for all the work that they've been doing and being a leader in this area. So we'll get into today's reports. And we're going to today focus really on three things. Certainly the fire, and provide an update from Lee and Robert. We will do a general EOC update and then focus on the state legislation update from Benna. So that's what we will do today, and I'll pass it off to Lee.
Thank you, Dave. Good morning, Mayor and Council. On behalf of Kip Harkness and I'll be starting us off today. As Dave has mentioned, today we're going to focus on a fire update, general EOC update, and then we were directed 2 weeks ago by the Council if we could bring back state legislation updates specific to some of the eviction legislation that was currently in our state legislature and what was moving forward. So Benna is going to focus on that. But to start us off for the fire, you will hear from myself as well as Chief Sapien and Colin Haney and Jenny Loft, who shared the duties of Emergency Public Information Officer. And we're going to cover a little bit of kind of the situation status, the background of events, what fire's response was to our own fires, as well as to the many fires surrounding us that our fires had, or our fire department has had a role in, and then all the response and the supporting nature that the EOC has taken up to support our good men and women of our fire department. So as many of you know, on August 16th, the SCU Lightning Complex fire began with multiple fires. That quickly moved over the course of several days, where first eviction orders were issued for Santa Clara County. And then as we came into this past weekend, red flag warnings were issued for possible second wind of dry lightning. This ended up being canceled, however. And so we're going to walk you through in detail, or the chief will on the next slide, kind of our own response within this time frame, starting on the 16th as well as early as of this morning. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chief Sapien.
Thank you very much, Lee. Good morning, Robert Sapien, Fire Chief. We're going to be focused on one fire in particular today, but I wanted to show you the current scar of the Santa Clara Unit Lightning Complex and the Santa Cruz Lightning Complex. Those are both of the fires that were of most concern over the week. And certainly it was the Santa Clara Unit Lightning Complex that we watched very closely as it moved along our eastern borders and areas that we cover for Santa Clara County. Currently, we know that the Santa Cruz Lightning Complex is approaching 80,000 acres and is not yet contained. And I'll talk a little bit about some resources that we've committed to that incident. I will also talk more about the Santa Clara Unit Lightning Complex. So if we could move to the next slide, please. So in terms of where we're at with the incident, this incident, of course, started on the 16th of August at about 6 a.m. It has grown since to 363,000 acres. That's a little over 59 square miles, if you can imagine the enormity of that fire. We did pass, certainly not a point of pride, but we did pass the LNU complex fire, and this is now the second largest fire in California history. It is currently 15% contained. It is being managed by a Type 1 incident management team that is out of base camp at Alameda County Fairgrounds. A Type 1 incident management team would bring the highest training levels and most experience to bear. And if you've been closely monitoring, you know that they are doing a fantastic job of coordinating with multiple stakeholders and agencies and pushing a great deal of information and, of course, mitigating the emergency. So the incident is in very capable hands. Right now, there are almost 1,400 personnel committed to mitigation and management efforts. And currently, evacuations here in the county are impacting approximately 4,000 people. Evacuations over most of the week have included areas east of San Jose city limits, and that has been consistently the messages, although there's been a little bit of confusion over time as maps and overlays have been hard to decipher. Next slide, please. So a little sense of timeline and how the department reflexed. So every wildland season, the department is committed to participating in statewide mutual aid, and this year is no different. I would say what is different is the depth of commitment that these fires brought us to, and certainly stretched us literally to try to find all the tools and equipment and personnel available to try to fill quite a bit of equipment. So just a bit of a timeline. As you know, it was the effects of Tropical Storm Fausto on Saturday evening and Sunday morning that brought us some lightning into the area. It was early Sunday when I started to respond to requests for mutual aid. On that day, we sent 5 personnel to begin to assist with the Santa Clara Unit Lightning Complex. And those individuals began to fill some of the incident management positions in the plans, logistics, finance sections, and public information. On the next day, we were asked to help CAL FIRE cover their local fire stations. And so we committed our engines 14 and 16 and our Type 6 engines 619 and 627 to cover stations throughout the county as CAL FIRE had become committed to incidents around the state. Those companies are still committed at this time responding to incidents throughout the county. On that day also, we sent some support to the Santa Cruz Lightning Complex. That included a field observer, which is essentially helps bring intelligence back to the command post, and a logistics officer position as well. As we moved into Tuesday the 18th, we committed resources to a Santa Clara County strike team. That is a type 1 engine strike team. So a battalion chief and 5 engines out of Santa Clara County responded to the river fire. That particular strike team was pulled from the river fire and was sent north to the LNU fire just yesterday. On Tuesday the 18th, engines 2 and 9 were requested on an emergency need basis for initial attack to assist with Santa Cruz County, and they ended up being assembled into a Santa Clara County task force. That task force 2324 went right in, and we received report backs from those crews that they were engaged very early in protecting structures throughout that early evening. On Wednesday, recognizing that our commitment level would likely become deeper, I activated our Department Operations Center so that we can ensure that we could be responsive to all the needs of those resources that were being assigned, and that we could come up with an effective plan for defending the city from threatening fires. On the following day, we assigned one of our deputy chiefs as a liaison to the base camp at the Santa Clara unit, and he remains there to this day, making sure that we have the latest information as it unfolds from that command post. On Friday, we did something a little bit different for our department. We assembled our own task force, that is Task Force 2321, which includes a battalion chief, leader, and 2 Type 3 wildland engines, 2 Type 6 wildland engines, and a water tender. And so this is a very potent resource, the way it is staffed and with the equipment that it has. And we have kept that here in town to respond quickly and effectively to any emerging threats. Within an hour and a half of deployment of that resource, they were actively fighting fire at the Coyote fire, which broke out that afternoon and ended up burning 143 acres, and that was located south of Metcalf between Highway 101 and Monterey Road. On that day as well, we received a request from Santa Clara Lightning Complex to fill a bilingual capable public information officer role, and we were able to fill that. And then, as I believe you all are aware, we began to brace for what was anticipated to be a very dangerous time period as a second threat of lightning came through following the effects of Hurricane Genevieve as it broke up and moved through the region. So we were on weather watch initially from 5 a.m. on Sunday the 23rd, which was to extend to Monday yesterday at 5 p.m. However, it was canceled by the National Weather Service at 10:40 a.m. Since then, the department has, while we maintain our response and vigilance to support all of our deployed resources and to monitor local conditions, we are not currently staffing our Department Operations Center, but we are still on high alert and monitoring resources. Throughout this time period, I should mention, as is noted at the bottom of the table, is that as we monitored weather conditions and risks, our local staffing never dipped below normal levels, and in fact were heavily augmented throughout the week.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for your partnership over the last few days. In response, the EOC was activated virtually and actually in person for the first time this year to respond to something other than COVID. And I'll let our EPIOs cover our communications pieces, but in this role, we're definitely as an EOC in a support role for fire in whatever they need. And that includes coordination with the incident command post at the fairgrounds in Alameda County. And so we've sent EOC personnel up there over the last few days to continue that partnership in the way of monitoring the fire and monitoring additional weather events and backing up fire when needs be. We activated a small but mighty team over the last several days to focus on evacuation planning for the eastern parts of our city that may have been included in any warning or order that never materialized, thankfully. In the way of evacuation planning, the team was able to utilize San Jose Police Department's Air 3 to help with that, and I'll touch upon that in a second, as well as work with our Department of Transportation and Police Department to operationalize evacuation plans if necessary. And so that would have included not just alerts and notifications, but also the use of long-range acoustical devices. And so our police department had resources staged on the east side of the city if and when evacuation notices materialized. In addition, the team did plan for mass care as we continue to communicate this past several days. The Berryessa Community Center, as well as Evergreen Community Center, would have functioned as a shelter site. And as the event came in over this past day, we actually started to publicize Southside Community Center as an evacuation center and not Evergreen in case of the fire or any warning area. That community center may have been included. So the team did excellent work on that front and really appreciate PRNS and Jim Morpall and their role and leadership in that. One of the things we're able to do, and I'm not sure this will work, but wanted to give kudos to San Jose Police Department as part of this effort, and Captain Dwyer and the special operations, specifically the air support unit. Obviously, our Air 3 is a regional asset, and we've been able to get a number of members of our own fire department up, a number of members of the Emergency Operations Center up in the past several days. To look at hotspots, look at where the fire breaks are, get a better intelligence, and get CAL FIRE up in our own helicopter, in addition to some of our regional partners, such as the City of Morgan Hill, to help develop some of their own evacuation plans. So wanted to thank the police department as a partner in this exercise, and then I'll move us along and hand it off to Jenny Loft, one of our emergency public information officers for this event.
Good morning, Mayor, Council members. I'm Jenny Loft. Thank you, Lee. I had the pleasure of leading the Blue Shift team at the Emergency Public Information branch of the event. Over the last 6 days of wildfires, our response to the growing and multiple threats posed by the fires has developed from information sharing, as you see here in that first quadrant, and then it moved into evacuation readiness and response, and then finally preparation for actual evacuation. So last Wednesday, starting in that first quadrant, we started with providing information about air quality using information from the Bay Area Air Quality Group, and we shared the Spare the Air alert. San Jose actually translated that information, and as we wanted to make sure that we reached out to our diverse community. We also clarified evacuation orders because some of our residents received evacuation orders, but they were not near any fires. So that was information disseminated out to our community. And then we also shared that information with council members and mayor in a toolkit. And then as we moved into Thursday, we, as the wildfire situation intensified, we increased our emergency public information, and Colin Haynes and I led the two public information teams. So we focused on two messages during this period. It was no evacuations had occurred, and no evacuation orders were issued in San Jose, and that everybody be prepared because things could shift at any moment. Our outreach consisted of both digital and traditional flyers because we wanted to make sure that we were able to reach our diverse community, and we are very mindful that not everybody's on digital, and also that we wanted to make sure that accessibility was really critical, including having language information translated into Spanish, Vietnamese, and Chinese. So many of our materials were translated, and so that was really important to make sure that we got the information out to our diverse community. So as you can see here, we developed a new wildfire emergency notification webpage, which was translated into 4 languages, or I'm sorry, 3 languages. So it was a quadrilingual page. And then we also did the same thing for a flash report. We haven't done one for this event. So that was really important to get that out to subscribers of the flash report on the same, mimicking what we've been doing with COVID. And then we also posted messages on Twitter and Facebook. The Twitter messages were in quadrilingual versions. And we reached out to ethnic media to make sure that they had the information as well to share with our constituents. And we partnered with our San Jose Library, and as they have an express pickup service for books, and so we inserted flyers into those bags. And we also worked with PRNS with the Senior Nutrition Program, and we were able to share hard copies through that system. So that was really just, want to make sure that we reach as many of our community members as much as possible. And then we switched gears and went into the preparation for evacuation. So we drafted direct evacuation notices that would have been in the Alert SCC notification, the RIA notification, as well as Nixle. We also developed another web page for evacuation resources, and that was, of course, translated into Spanish, Vietnamese, and Chinese. We also developed social media posts to ensure that we were ready to go with that. And we produced a flyer for our distribution for door-to-door notification should that need to occur. Next slide, please. Here's some images of some additional public information. As you can see, the mayor and city council members outreach to our communities, and here's some examples of that. Here is Mayor Liccardo at his regular Facebook Live events, and also a video that Councilmember Arenas had put together quickly to share information about safety during this situation. We also received a very nice tweet from one of our community members, and they said in their tweet, the city of San Jose is doing it well, tweeting in 5 languages. So that really, really hit home for us that, that message is being carried, and that people are noticing that we're translating and reaching our communities. So thank you so much, Mayor Liccardo and council members, for your continued commitment and reaching out to our communities. That's it for my report, Lee. Thanks.
Thank you, Jenny. And thank you to you and Colin and the team for your work this past weekend. The EOC remains on a monitoring kind of platform this week. We'll continue to coordinate with fire and CAL FIRE at the incident command post and continue to watch the weather. As the chief said, the fire is currently 15% contained as of this morning. CAL FIRE's continue to emphasize to us and to the press that this is definitely more of a marathon. So we are going to continue to monitor our own situation in the city of San Jose and continue to regularly communicate out to our own residents One of the things that we have done is take all of the data in partnership with CAL FIRE and develop the GIS map. CAL FIRE has their own, we've been sharing an exact replica of it on our own site for duplication in case CAL FIRE's ever goes down, and it has once or twice. That map has been viewed just shy of 1 million times in the last 5 days, or viewed, I should say. And so appreciate Matt and his team. With that, that is our fire update. Want to thank everyone who's been involved in the EOC and the fire department and police department. And with that, I'm handing it off to Andrew Eric, our assistant to the EOC director, for the COVID update.
Thanks, Lee. Good morning, Mayor, Council, and members of the public. It's good to be with you. And as you've just heard, the EOC has been focusing a lot of effort and time on the fires this week, but our response to COVID-19 has also continued, and we wanted to provide an update on the major accomplishments of the past 7 days. So first, the city and its community partners continued food distribution nationwide. Together, we coordinated and delivered more than 2.1 million meals last week with no reported gaps. The EOC was also focused on meeting the needs of at-risk populations that were affected by the heat and the smoke as a result of the fires. Our logistics section was busy acquiring and stationing backup generators and other materials at South Hall, at Camden Community Center, to make sure that we had sufficient improved air quality for sheltered residents and cooling capabilities at those centers. Our logistics branch is also monitoring our inventory of personal protective equipment. That stash of equipment is now strained by an additional emergency, but we're pleased to report that at this point, all inventories are at 90 days or better, and we are paying particular attention not only to PPE use during the fire, but also the needs for PPE in our childcare services to make sure that we're flexing to provide the equipment that's needed to keep all staff and children safe as part of those efforts. I also want to mention that our EPIO team, in addition to publicizing updates about the fire, was working consistently to amplify messaging regarding the census. They worked with our Office of Economic Development to conduct outreach to businesses around business grants and posting several updates about alfresco. Our Community and Economic Recovery branch finalized documentation and application materials for Coronavirus Relief Fund small business grants, and that includes a website landing page and frequently asked questions. And finally, you heard last week about the plans for the final push for the census. This past week, we finalized an operational staffing plan for that effort. Trainings are ongoing this week, and we are going to launch that campaign later on this week, which is exciting. Those are the main updates for this week. Thanks very much. At this point, I'll turn it over to Benna Chang for updates on state legislation.
Good morning, I'm Benna Chang. I'm the city's Intergovernmental Relations Director and here to give a quick update on eviction moratorium legislation. Next slide, please, Lee. So just as a quick reminder, there are two major state actions that are in effect right now. One is the governor's executive order that says that state law cannot preempt locals from passing eviction moratoriums. And this actually expires September 30th. And secondly, the Judicial Council also passed an emergency order that really prohibited filings of evictions. And that emergency order expires September 1st. So under this backdrop, it has been a major priority for both the legislature and the governor to pass more permanent eviction moratorium legislation. You might remember that earlier in the session, there were many bills that the legislature introduced, and that has really now been narrowed down to one main bill, which is AB 1436 by Assemblymember David Chu. It's currently on the Senate floor right now, and it has a couple of main points, but the bill is really to buy extra time for both renters and landlords to make payments. So the bill contains an eviction moratorium through the state of emergency plus 90 days or April 1st of 2021, whichever comes first. And then after that, renters have 15 months or until April 1st, 2022 to pay rent, whichever comes first. As part of that package, the legislation also includes a 1-year forbearance for small landlords and 6 months forbearance for large landlords. on mortgage payments. This bill is currently actively being negotiated in the legislature right now, and there could be additional changes that will come for this bill. But this one is something that we're watching very carefully and closely. On the commercial eviction side, Senator Wiener did introduce SB 939, which included a temporary commercial eviction moratorium with a 6-month repayment. Unfortunately, that bill died and is no longer active, but the city is working very closely, thank you to the mayor, through to the governor's office to talk about the impact in San Jose if the commercial eviction moratorium were to go away, and to advocate for the governor to take additional actions. So with that, I pass it back over to Lee.
I think you're handing it off to, I think Andrew's closing us out, actually.
Thanks, Lee. So we wanted to preview for the council updates we're providing in the coming weeks. We do want to note that we've shifted some items around here, mostly due to efforts that we are dedicating towards the fire. We had originally discussed digital inclusion update this week. We will be providing that update next week, as well as an update on homelessness and Beautify SJ. Next week, the council will also hear updates on food distribution and resident assistance efforts as part of other items on the agenda. Currently, we are not planning any update for item 3.1 on September 15th, and that's due to a relatively full agenda already. We want to make sure there's room for other items. On September 15th, we will be coming back to council with an update on our fiscal recovery and coronavirus relief fund rebalancing as part of a separate item. And on September 22nd, we're currently planning updates on our concurrent emergency planning efforts, our public health order efforts, and the strategic communications plan update from our EPIO. So the EOC continues to be busy, and we look forward to updating you on all of those efforts. With that, I'll pass it back to Lee.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew, and thank you, team. That ends our presentation. Staff is available for any questions you may have.
Thank you. And with apologies that my video is off, I've got some bandwidth issues here at my house. We'll go to council questions till about noon, and then we'll take a break for lunch and come back at 1:30. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I just want to say thank you to the entire Emergency Operations Center team and to our fire department. It has not been an easy previous week, and I'm sure there's a lot more time left. 2020 is the gift that keeps on giving. I just have one question. What happens with people who don't have a car or who are otherwise mobility challenged when there is an evacuation order?
A great question. So we were partnering and planning with the Valley Transportation Authority and the police department, and I know Jim's on to provide a little bit more detail.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning, Jim Ortball, Deputy City Manager. Yeah, I was working with the police department and VTA to have outreach vans available. They would have been deployed at the police command center for evacuation and be deployed where they would be needed. So good cooperation from VTA on that front, and our police department was organizing that effort.
So is that what we always do? I guess I'm curious. It's nice when we have a little bit of time, and in the Valley we have time. What happened in the hills with people who were evacuated from the county portions of the hills? What happened with them when they had less time?
Yeah, a good question. I don't know the details of that. I would imagine the county sheriff managed the evacuation in those areas. Probably as they communicated out there, if people needed assistance, they probably worked to get them assistance. But I don't know the details in the rural areas, how people who had transportation challenges
and
got
Jim,
out.
if I could jump in,
Sure.
I do believe so. When residents get notified of the evacuation, especially through SEC, residents that need assistance are asked to call actually 911 to specifically ask for that assistance. And so there will be an individual response to those that cannot move themselves out.
Thank you. So is that also what would happen, and it's almost unthinkable right now, but is that what would happen in the city with a flood as well? The same kind of note, Dave?
Well, yeah, I think so. Certainly, as you know, we've the evacuations are coming far more frequently, and I think the other approach is you know, providing much more warning when possible for evacuations, and so that does provide that opportunity to include that messaging in the evacuation orders, so that residents have an understanding what to do, and then we can provide that service.
Yeah, just to jump in, you know, within the EOC, we kind of thought of kind of a multi-pronged approach with this. So obviously, if we were to send out our own alert SCC for any warnings in San Jose, we were going to offer the same information. We also had planned and were ready for the same type of messaging on social media. But then same as we did with some of the power safety shutoffs, you know, the ability to work with our access and functional need network ahead of time, because they know where a lot of those people are located. So we had given a similar heads up as the storm didn't materialize. We did not need to obviously issue anything, so we're able to pull that back. But there's groups like that, and obviously we had alerted CERT in the villages and had started that, you know, more proactive work around some of those needs as well.
That's great to hear. Thank you.
Councilmember Davis, is that all you had?
Yes, that's it.
Okay, great. Councilmember Esparza?
Thank you, Mayor. I know that city staff has been in communication with some mobile home park residents, and so I know that you're going to be following up on that, but I wanted to ask the question about sort of the EOC looking at where evacuations are, and if there's a mobile home park nearby, what would the city do in that instance?
And I don't know if Ray is on to talk about the overall approach for citywide. We had not identified a mobile home park in a potential area. So we did not go through that exercise. The area of our concern, where we were very diligent and doing a lot of planning, was around the village areas, as well as communities that needed additional language interpretation. So we put a lot of resources and planning into that. So I know as we continue kind of our own concurrent emergency planning, there obviously are emergencies outside of some of these areas where we need to incorporate the mobile home community. And I know Ray has thought through some of that if he wants to jump in.
Thank you, Lee. This is Ray Reardon, the Director of the Office of Emergency Management. Good morning, all. Yes, a lot of what Lee was saying is what we institute when an evacuation order comes in. We look at the landscape, we look at the area that's involved, we look at the population, and we've taken the time during our planning events to get a good sense of what's in each council in terms of those with access and functional needs, those with language needs and considerations. And we put that effort into our planning as we go ahead and go forward. And as Lee indicated, we reached out to our AFN contacts and leads. We gave them that heads up, and they also provided information back as to what would be available, which was very positive. This is a step forward from what we've been able to do in the past events in terms of engaging those community resources. So we look forward to, as we look at our power vulnerability plan, I know I'm sort of leading into how we're planning for other emergencies at the same time, but we're looking at our power vulnerability plan to be ready for the power shutoff as they come along, because we do anticipate them happening. We are including our AFN community in that dialogue, so we have a better communication with them. We also look at, and we will also be looking at our flood emergency plan, and those same things is what's in the area of impact and what resources do we need to have. So we will take into account mobile home access needs.
Thank you, Ray. And we can all pray that the rest of 2020 can take a break. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Councilmember Carrasco.
Hi, thank you. Well, I for one, I want to thank the entire team for being so helpful during a very difficult time. and I guess I just want to just say a couple of things regarding my district. Thankfully, we didn't have the kind of situation where we needed to evacuate my district. That would have been sheer disaster. But there was a lot of confusion, and we all know this at the very beginning, where people weren't getting the kind of communication necessary for folks to plan and to really understand what was happening. And part of that, I think, is also normal when suddenly an emergency happens and things start moving very quickly. You don't know where a fire, for example, is going to move, in which direction. You're trying to get everybody in place and trying to move very quickly. So I appreciate how quickly our team moved. But one of the things that I just wanted to get an understanding about is language. The language that was being distributed is easily understood by those who understand. But those who don't understand the technical language, it's very difficult when we read those emergency posts, and when it's distributed to just common folk, we don't understand that language. And so just for future reference, to just really try and simplify the kind of language that's necessary for people to make their plans and to be able to move on plans. I just think we need to debrief. I don't think this is a place for us to debrief necessarily and go line by line, but I'd like to be able to talk about that a little bit more, because the kind of conversations that I was having with residents and trying to decipher those evacuation orders versus evacuation, what was it? Evacuation.
Orders versus warnings.
Orders versus warnings was, we had to go back and try and decipher it ourselves. I think I called you, Lee, and was trying to, or it was Sal, trying to understand what was the difference. Was really very confusing, and it created panic among our residents. And so I think it's great for people to still have, I still have my emergency bags in the van. Nothing of value, just so that the public understands. There's nothing of value. It's just, some PJs and some extra shoes, and but just we have our emergency bags in the van, including puppy pads, which I think everyone should at this point, because I just don't know what 2020 is going to gift us with, as Councilmember Davis said. But they didn't know. We didn't know what the difference was. And the other is deciphering a topography map. Is, you almost need a degree in it. So the first few maps that came out, we were so confused by the topography, by the geography of it. And so having those accurate maps from the get-go with the streets on it, for me, if I had the warning notices with actual street boundaries on it, would have been so much easier for me to be able to communicate with my residents versus markers. The markers were just very, very hard for me to communicate. And then the last thing I'll just say is, in an emergency, do we really want to define the difference between county versus city? There was a notice that went out and said no evacuations for, what was it, for city residents. So what did that mean? So if you lived across the street and you were a county resident, then that didn't apply to you, then they were going to be, so, those are our neighbors. So they're all talking to each other. And so that poses a very interesting dilemma, because they're all on my on my social platforms, just like they're probably on Councilmember Arenas and all of us who have these big pockets, and I have the most pockets in my district. So they're all sharing this information, and that just made it really confusing because literally just across the street, it's all county pocket, and they're asking me, so what does that mean for me? And so that just made it very confusing in terms of literally just across the street, did that suddenly change in terms of orders? So I just, when people are living so close to each other, and we know that a fire is not going to respect city versus county, do we define an order in that way? So I'm just saying, just in terms of like the normal, ordinary person that doesn't understand technicalities like that, we want to make it as simple as possible. And that's it. Thank you so much. But thank you so much for the work that you did. You know, if I was up all night, kind of keeping an eye on things, I can't imagine what all of you were going through. I'll tell you, it was reassuring to get the text messages that I was getting from each one of you and the emails. It was very comforting to know that you were on top of it. If I couldn't be out there watching it myself, knowing that all of you were doing that for me and for our residents was really, it just gave me a sense of reassurance and a sense of comfort for my residents. But as a resident myself, and as a mother with 3 children that did not know whether I had to jump into the van myself, and 3 kids that I'll tell you were also really scared, I just want to really thank you for the work that you did this past week. I'm very, very grateful for everything that you did, and for the men and women that have been out there. I know that they're exhausted. I know that one of our firefighters lost a home, and they're tired. And so I'm very grateful for all of the work that they're doing, and hope that they will get back home to their loved ones safe and sound. Thank you, Mayor. I'm good.
You could take us to the noon hour, and then we'll take a break after that.
All right, I'll take us to the noon hour, and we'll take a break after
Great.
that. And Councilmember Diaz, I think I'll just follow along Councilmember Carrasco's comments in terms of the deciphering of the orders. I know it's difficult to understand if you're not if you don't understand topography, and who does. I mean, we live in the cities, not in the hills, and the CAL FIRE warnings or evacuation orders were more or less using landmarks. You know, if you live east of highway something, and then west of the county line, and then north or south of certain streets, and it cuts this wide swath of area. But if you're a resident near the red area, you just kind of want to know, do I evacuate or not? And so I know it's not our place as a city to second guess or to add extra information to these warnings or orders, and we shouldn't do that. But I think one thing we could add value on is kind of more deciphering, drilling down and saying, okay, it's if you live on Toyon on the right side of the road or on the north side, you should evacuate. If you live on Piedmont Road, you're safe. Whatever. For one night or for a few hours one night, early on, part of District 4, along with 5, was in the evacuation order area. And when I found that out, I did send an email out to my residents, a post on Nextdoor, telling folks to evacuate. And I was kind of sitting on it, and I struggled with it because I didn't want to cause more panic than was necessary. But then I also felt if that was the order, we should get it out there as soon as possible. So I went through the map that we had on the city, and I kind of identified the streets. If you live on this street, please leave. If you're not on the street, you're safe. And I think on the whole, people appreciate it. I did get some phone calls after midnight saying I got an email from you telling me to evacuate, but nothing's happening on my street. Like, what do I do? But in any case, I think the value the city can add is if we kind of decipher those orders into a more, as Councilmember Carrasco said, more understandable way for people to understand. So that's one, and that's just feedback, really, because I do think that people appreciated that, and I think thankfully it didn't cover more of San Jose, but if it got to that, I think we should have been more precise to help calm people down. And then just real quick, with 2 minutes left for the intergovernmental team, the David Chu bill, which is a great idea. I've heard that even if it passes, there's not a lot of weight to it because the states doesn't have the ability to I guess govern that area. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, and I don't know if Chris Alexander is on from CAO as well. I know that he's more into the technical details of this bill, but it does provide sort of a process and guardrails for how evictions might happen and the timeline for payment and those kinds of things. And I haven't heard personally that there are implementation challenges with that. I should also mention too on that bill that there is a line in the bill that says that local policies can trump AB 1436 if those local policies provide greater tenant protection. And so I know that impacts 8.1 that council will be discussing later on today as well.
Sure. Okay, that's all. I appreciate Assemblymember Chu for his efforts, and I certainly hope, I support it. I'm just concerned that the city and maybe even the state will have trouble negotiating or mandating that banks and mortgages and such are deferred. I really do think it takes an act of Congress to get involved there. But to the extent that our local and state measures are respected by the private sector, I'm all for it. So thank you. And let's break for lunch.
So it is ordered. We'll break for lunch and resume at 1:30. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.